Let me know in the comments. Oh, here it is. Hello. What's up, everybody? Say hello in the comments so I know that we're good. Yeah, okay. 13 seconds in. Cool. Can everybody hear me? Sick. Cool. Thank you guys very much for coming and hanging out. If you're on Facebook, share this so we can get more people in the chat. Let's build it up. Get more people listening to me talk. Cool. So we're going to do some questions. Cody's going to hit me with them. Ooh. Hello, J.S. Lacaton? I think it's Lacaton. So for the new drugs lineup, I'm not announcing anything just yet. There is a lot of news kind of around it that I'm going to start trickling out. There are a few members confirmed for it, for specifically like the live stuff. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to have everybody play on the album or if I'll have other people play on the album yet. But right now, well, since quarantine started, the stay at home, I've basically just been demoing and writing all of this this new music and gearing up for the next release. So can't tell you exactly who's in the new lineup yet, but it's going to be some familiar faces, and some of them are not going to be familiar, I don't think, but we'll see, I guess. So. Hi, Karen. Man, what is my favorite sandwich? This would have been so easy when I ate meat. It's so hard now because I try not to even eat bread. I think probably a grilled cheese sandwich. Like if I'm gonna do a sandwich, it'll be like a grilled cheese, and it's only like once every 2 months. I'm a little carb conscious, little bread conscious. My favorite drug song, it changes all the time. Probably Graveyard Dancing. I think Graveyard Dancing is like the most true to my songwriting and kind of my style. You know, and I think you can kind of hear that throughout all of the Drugs music. That one always stands out. I like a lot of the like instrumentation and the programming, and kind of those bells and whistles, and even just the lyrics, the kind of darker but still emotional lyrics. So I would say Graveyard Dancing is my favorite drug song. Ooh, so okay, we're on Cheetos. We can talk about Cheetos for a second. So All's Well That Ends Well turned 15, which is crazy to think about. Last weekend, so I think last Sunday is when the actual anniversary was. But if you haven't checked it out yet, we did drop merch. It took a little while to put it together, but we put kind of an amazing line together that I'm really, really happy with. So if you haven't checked it out yet, and if you didn't see it, there is new Cheetos merch. We did a whole line, a whole 15-year line for All's Well That Ends Well, which is so crazy to think about because, we started writing, like I was 17 when we started writing that album and 20 when it released, and then no one really cared about it until I was like 21. But that's like some very important formative years. So it's really, really crazy to kind of see it come together, I guess. And so the 15 years is just crazy to think about, I think. I can't believe that, I don't know, anything I've been a part of has been for 15 years. So anyways, yeah. So I think it's cheetos.merchnow.com if you want to check it out. And just between us, just because you guys are here, and I'll let you guys in on a little bit of a secret. So the vinyl sold out in like 30 minutes. I think we sold like 1,000 vinyl in a couple hours. I know the first two variants were like 30 minutes, and then the other 500 copies for the third variant went like within an hour or another half hour or something. But next week, and the wall flag sold out too. But next week, we will be dropping more. That's just between us. So keep your eyes on the socials, and don't miss out if you want to get one of those Cheetos vinyls, the variants of All's Well, because they will go quick. They're going to sell out. And the new colors and the new variants that we just chose today are dope. So I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked for you guys to check them out. Yeah, I'll be playing the whole, yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, what else would I play live with it? Like, I have to. Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think everybody can expect, yeah, just a drug show. It's gonna be awesome. I'm stoked. I think through time, it'll just like choose like the bangers probably, just like in any band I'm in, and just kind of build the set list out from there. Um, and I was about to announce a drugs tour, um, I think 2 weeks before the stay at home started. But I guess it was just a sign. So whenever I am allowed to tour again, whenever we're allowed to gather in public places and do it safely, there will be lots of drugs dates, and I can't wait. I'm so excited to get on stage and sing aggressive music again. It's gonna be fun. Yo, so at the beginning of this, I had super long hair. I was like ponytailing it up. It was it was pretty crazy actually. Um, but no, this is like I feel like I already need a haircut to be honest. It's kind of long as it is now. So no, I'm not growing my hair out. I am not. Yeah, when we announce a drugs tour, um, I am planning to do. I think we're planning worldwide. So UK, Australia, US, hopefully South America, um, probably some spots in Europe, um, but it'll be worldwide. So yeah, and I can't wait. I can't wait to finally yeah, just hit some of those countries again. Like I haven't been to the UK in a few years. It's gonna be nice to come back. I'm looking forward to it. And Drugs always had like a super cool reception there too. So I think that it's gonna be really fun. Hello, Jeremy. Let's see. What was the inspiration for the new song, Mr. Owlite, My Metal Worm? And what is it specifically about? So, Mr. Owlite, My Metal Worm is basically just about self doubt and just kind of not being. It's been like almost 10 years, so I have to think about this for a second. I know the chorus is about self doubt and just like giving in and kind of giving up. But I think that it was more about the verses are more about just kind of feeling pressure and people saying things that weren't even close to or applicable. And kind of the pressure was just all kind of weighing on my shoulders as opposed to like being evenly distributed. And I think that was just kind of what I had written down in my journal as a way to get it out. It isn't something I would like naturally talk about. Like if we were hanging out, I wouldn't be like, oh, wow, poor me. But like when I wrote it down in my journal, and then John Feldman and I did a majority of the songwriting for that record, when we sat down, we just went through a lot of my journal entries, and that was one that really stood out. And I felt like even when we put it together, the first time I heard it back, I felt like it was a little self-deprecating, but hopefully, people can listen to it and feel, I don't know, feel some sort of um, levity, knowing that someone else feels kind of an insurmountable amount of pressure as well, because I think we all probably carry at least somewhat a little bit of that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about intimate acoustic shows. The tour that I did last year was amazing. I really, really loved it. It was a lot of fun. Um, Anastasia, you were there in Iowa. And majority of it for those that don't know, it was mostly like studios across the country, and I just like would fly or get in a car and drive and show up with an acoustic or play like the grand piano in the studio or whatever they had, or bring a keyboard um, and play for 2 hours pretty much, and just kind of talk to everybody and hang out. But I've done kind of a lot of those over the past couple years, and now I think I'm gearing back more into bigger rock shows, um, more aggressive sets, playing with bands, um, and doing that stuff. If I do intimate acoustic shows, it'll be very like um, rare and probably just like one here, one there kind of thing. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy all music, really. I love music so much. Melodic electronic music, it's so hard. There's so many subgenres of electronic music. I mean, it's hard to even call Porter Robinson electronic music, but like, I love Porter Robinson. I think that you could kind of classify him in that way. He's probably one of my favorite artists right now. A lot of the electronic music I listen to is more based in the sound design that's more comparable to the rock music that I listen to. Like I love like Witch House electronic music, or just the darker tones. Um, projects like Ice Peak, or Crimes, or I just like the darker kind of heavier stuff. Not so much like dubstep, um, where it completely strays away from melody. But I like kind of yeah. I think I like the more melodic stuff, and then kind of the more goth stuff, I guess, for lack of a better term. If I could tour with any band or artist, who would it be? Man, I have no idea. I mean, I'm getting pretty excited about this next drugs record cycle, to be honest. I really think it'd be cool to, I don't know if their fans would like us as much, but I would love to tour with like Code Orange. Um, I think that they released one of my favorite records of the year. Um, there's a band called Static Dress from the UK that I absolutely love. I think they would be fun to tour with. Um, who else would I want to tour with? Someone like Nine Inch Nails would be amazing. Um, Let me think. I really like Loathe a lot too. I think Loathe would be super cool to tour with. Um, and I think I'll probably end up touring with a few of those bands on this next cycle. So if you like those bands, hopefully you guys will be into it. And if you haven't heard of any of those bands, check them out. Let's see, which countries you haven't visited yet but expect to. Hi, Hernan. Um, what haven't I been yet? I don't think I've ever been to Brazil. Brazil would be awesome. A lot of South America, I don't think I've been able to tour in. I would really like to tour in South America. Um, so I would probably expect that to happen next year. Hopefully, if things open up. If not, then the next year. But when things open up, probably South America, I would say. Nice. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, thank you, Mario. for those of you that don't know, I dropped a new song 2 weeks ago, I think, with 100 Gex, Fall Out Boy, and Nicole Dollenganger. It's a remix of their song Handcrushed by a Mallet. The song goes, I love it. 100 Gex was my favorite album of last year. And I have known Dylan from 100 Gex for a few years now. We went in the studio and worked on Bad Channel stuff together 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. So I've been aware of Dylan's production style and 100 Gex kind of sound design for a few years now. It was influential with Bad Channels. And I really just love them. And so Dylan and I talk randomly. We'll randomly send each other stuff. And he just called me one night and said, "Hey, will you sing on the song? This is what we're doing." And it actually happened that I was going to be in Los Angeles, I think 2 days after that or something, shooting some videos. So I was able to just go and meet with him. He called me, and then I think I was there in like I said, like 3 days in the studio with him recording. And originally we recorded the entire song. It was kind of like a reactive experience because I had only listened to that track in particular, nowhere near enough to kind of have like all the vocal cadences and lyrics memorized. So when I was in the studio, it was very kind of free flowing. I listened to it kind of crammed, went in and we did a couple different variations. Like originally on the chorus, it was like super moshy and I screamed the entire time, which is dope. I have like videos of it. So hopefully I'll release that at some point. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the 100 Gex song, check it out. It's an amazing song. They're great songwriters, great people. And like I said, 100 Gex was my favorite album of 2019. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Get. Mm. Yeah, I think this is a good question. Thank you, Brian Gold. And thank you guys for like being here too. I know I'm answering a lot of questions. I'm trying to like figure it out. So, and I also haven't like talked to people because I've been stay at home quarantine. I haven't done very many live streams. I've just been like focusing. So excuse my little bit of awkwardness. So lyrics, a lot of my lyrics are influenced by literature, specifically my younger lyrics, like the stuff I was writing early on. All's Well was very heavily based on Shakespeare and Greek mythology. On the cover is Charon, the ferryman of the dead. One day women will all become monsters is from Shakespeare, King Lear. A lot of the lyrics are from King Lear. And just influenced by Shakespeare early on. And then as I kind of went on into Bone Palace and Grand Coda, it became more centered around kind of Bukowski lyrics or Bukowski poems. And I just love to read. But lately, I think that was pretty much some of the last times that besides that solo song I dropped, El Dorado, which was just like an Edgar Allan Poe poem. But besides that, I don't think that I have used a lot of inspiration from those kind of writings. But I'm a big reader. Like I read all the time. I have just shelves and shelves of books. I love to read so much. I think partly because I really take my craft seriously and there's a great quote from Stephen King that says that if you want to write well, you have to read a lot. And I really took that to heart and I noticed kind of the changes, but I love all kind of books. So if you guys ever have book suggestions, if you ever want to talk about books, that's a great way to start up a conversation. I love talking about literature and hopefully one day, when maybe in 20, 30 years, when I've slowed down from touring and my neck is like too busted up to headbang, and my throat's too raw to scream, I would love to focus solely on writing. I started my first novel in December, and it's going really well. I was gonna write one like maybe like a decade ago, and I just got swept up in the music stuff. Um, but I'm maybe like 20% into the novel at this point, and I have no idea when it'll be finished or released, so it's hard for me to even talk about it. But yeah, I love literature. I love writing. I take it seriously. I'm very heavily influenced by it. Yeah, yeah. I think that people are going to be really really surprised with the new Drugs album. I think it's actually going to be heavier than the first one. Um, I think people kind of heard the demo and maybe think that it's going to be a little more radio pop, but it isn't going to be like that. Because that was very reactive. I didn't even expect to drop that, to be honest. It was just something I was working on. And I'm like, you know what? It's been too long. I'm not just going to announce it's back. I've got to release something. So here it is, for King I Am. Um, but yeah, I think the new album is going to be, it might be one of the heaviest projects I've ever done. And that includes Cheetos and Beast. I think it's going to be really heavy. And I think there'll be catchy moments too. Obviously, I'm not going to just, not have that, but I think people are going to be really surprised with how heavy this record is. And I'm excited for it. Yeah, I have a Patreon. I'm really bad at updating it. And um, I do like monthly calls, which I might have missed a month. See, I'm not the best at Patreon. Um, but yes, I do have one. Jennifer, if you want to sign up and join us, please do. I think it's just my name. Just search my name. I think. If not, then maybe they know in the chat. Maybe people know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's what all my songs are, Conrad. I think that you know, a collection of lyrics is pretty much the same as like a book of short stories. I think I would like to do a bigger piece to start. I think I'd rather start with a novel. Um, but I could probably put together a book of short stories right now. Like I could just probably go through all my journals and all my writing. I've kept all of them since 2000, like 4 or 5. So I have a ton of writing saved up, and I could probably just revisit that and put it together and drop it. But yeah, I'd like to do a novel first, get it started that way, and then build and kind of introduce my writing style, because my writing style is different than my lyrics, obviously. Mm. Yeah, I love film. I love TV. Um, Let me see. What have I binged? I just started watching Criminal Minds, which is crazy. I'm a huge true crime guy. I love true crime, but I just finally started watching that. I usually watch like actual true crime stuff, not just like fictional based on true crime stuff. So Criminal Minds. I was just watching Umbrella Academy today. The second season that just dropped. That's super good. Um, I'm excited for New Mandalorian in October. Yeah, I like TV. I like the stories, and I'm trying to think of other shows that I've binged on this break. It has been so long. It feels like we've been inside for so long. Um, so yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there are definitely a bunch of them. Probably all the ones that you've watched, to be honest. Ooh, scary movie. This is good. Okay, so let's see. This is really hard because I like different kind of scary movies. The Shining might be one of my favorites. I don't know. It's super hard. I don't even like doing favorites. It's so hard to choose favorite anything. But I saw that since you said that line, it's very specific. I just saw today that they announced that Courtney Cox is doing the Scream 5 movie, which I'm stoked on. I think that's going to be super good. It's going to be super good. Other than that, I like just like classic horror movies, like old school stuff, you know. What else you got for me, Cody? Hit me with the questions. Yes, I did. I watched the new Unsolved Mysteries, except for the French episode. I made it like 2 minutes in, and I'm like, I can't. I'm tired right now. I can't read this right now. And usually I'm decent with like foreign films, but no. But yeah, that one dude definitely did it. The husband for sure. Um, that like I called that right away. And I'm trying to remember what other episodes were on that new Unsolved Mysteries. But yeah, it was super good. I really liked it. What groups and singers inspired me as a child? Hello, Eddie. Um, I think that my biggest inspirations coming up were Freddie Mercury from Queen. He was probably the first singer that I saw how enigmatic, dynamic, flamboyant, sassy, powerful, emotional, and how powerful his range was. And I think that spoke to me initially. And then as I started getting older and a bit more angsty, I got into At the Drive-In and Mars Volta. So Cedric Bixler was a huge inspiration, still is. Chris Conley from Saves the Day. Saves the Day was like one of my favorite bands coming up. His lyrics, his delivery, his kind of nasally. I romanticized about the New Jersey punk scene. So a lot of like my cadences when I sing like you or certain words or end of phrases comes from Saves the Day. Trying to think of other singers that really inspired me. I think that those are probably my top three. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it Bad Channel's influences, Rich. I would just call it electronic. But Drugs had that before. Drugs had that before, just not as like prominently. I think that as the modern music landscape has evolved over the last 10 years, that it kind of leaves a little more room for that, like people like my friends in Missio or even like Bring Me, like you hear these electronic influences kind of stand out. And I think that you can expect that from Drugs. The coolest thing about this Drugs record, this next release that I'm working on, is that it's been so long that I think that it allows time, like the time has allowed for reinvention. So like with the separation between the decade, like even if I tried to write the exact same record, I just don't think it would be possible because everything's changed sonically. Production style, like go back and listen to that record and compare it to, something you hear now. Feldman did it and he knocked it out of the park. The guy is just a miracle worker. But if you compare that to maybe the new Used record, which is amazing, you'll hear a lot of those differences sonically. And I think that's just the evolution of production, modern music, technology. And yeah, so I would say that there is going to be some electronics on it. I don't think that they're going to be as predominant as people think they are. But there are going to be little hints here and there that I think are just going to be interesting, kind of like just like ear candy throughout the entire thing. And a little announcement about the Drugs release, the next Drugs release. On Wednesday of next week, I am officially going into the studio to start recording and demoing it out aggressively. I've just been writing up to now. So as of Wednesday, check my stories. I'll probably start dropping little riffs, little parts. I have a friend coming into town on Wednesday who is just a phenomenal guitar player, and I think you guys are going to be really, really stoked. So we have kind of been conceptualizing this record for a little bit, and I've been writing it for the past, few months now. And we're going to finally dive in on Wednesday and start to really bring it to life. So I don't know when the release will be. It's going to be a little bit. I don't know if I'll end up re-recording the demos. I don't know if these demos will be good enough to just drop something, but definitely check out my stories, check out my Snapchat for teasers and just like riffs and just to kind of get the vibe of what this album's going to sound like. So as of Wednesday, it's on. Ooh, that's a really good question. I love music. I miss live shows so much. Let's see. So my favorite show that I've been to as a guest, I mean, I'm probably just gonna drop, honestly, some cred here. But really, it was my favorite show that I've ever seen. I was in high school and I saw, it was at St. Andrews Hall. There's maybe 300 people there. And I saw Grade opened, Botch played second, and then Murder City Devils closed. And that was by far the best show I think I'd ever seen. And I'd never heard anything like Botch before that. When I first saw Botch, it just blew my mind. They had a lighting guy that was just screaming and no mic, just out in the air. And it was just phenomenal. I'd never heard music so aggressively communicated before. And it changed everything for me. You know, I was a high school kid. I had only really heard, you know, Saves the Day, Alkaline Trio, kind of that stuff. And then when I saw Botch play that show, it just changed everything. And that like progressive metal really started sinking into my music taste at that point. So for the writing, I'm working on the production myself. Yeah, I won't produce the album myself. That's too much pressure at this point. I'm getting better with production, and I work with a lot of other artists producing them. But I use production now as a means to write, specifically for this record. There's a couple producers I have in mind. But like I said, when my friend gets here on Wednesday and we start diving in, we're going to have 2 studios set up, mine and his. We'll see what it sounds like, but I really want this to be as polished and like just perfect. Like this next release has to just be amazing. Like I only want to drop classic album after classic album. If it isn't good enough, it isn't there, then I'll just not release it and I'll keep waiting until it's good enough to drop. So no, I won't be producing this album. But I am working on the production, sure. Like, you know, it is something that I will help write and conceptualize and we'll do together, but a more skilled producer that has been in the game longer is, you know, probably who's going to be at the helm, because I don't trust myself to do that. Yeah, it's too much pressure. Let's see. Such highs. Sorry, this is a little question. Hi, Zach. How do you train your voice to get such highs and be able to scream without your voice cracking and giving out? No, there's 2 different questions there. I'm classically trained. I was a classically trained tenor. I did like all state. So I've been singing since middle school, started doing bigger statewide performances throughout high school, and then found punk rock music at like 15 and started Cheetos, which is my sophomore year, I think. And sophomore, junior, like right, maybe that summer. And so I started out as a bass originally with my voice, and I just kept working at it. I just kept singing, really. I mean, like, there isn't really like a trick or a specific, you know, way to get your voice to sound that high, other than like just keep stretching it out. It's like a muscle. It's like, you know, the more you lift weights, the more you build your muscle. It's like the more you sing and you work towards a certain goal, Try and like heighten your range one note every month or every week, and eventually you'll be able to keep going up. With screaming, it's kind of the same thing. I just screaming, it was a little different with originally, because I would just scream until I had to build it up to kind of get that raw kind of calloused thing happening. But after the first 2 years, it just kept getting better and better, and now I just have it. So I think you just got to do it. Just do it a lot. Hi, Brandy. Let's see. That's super hard to say. I like there's been cool shows everywhere. I love playing Michigan because that's my home state. I love Michiganders. It's always a crazy time. I love playing in New York because there's always a ton of people. It's always packed and they're always real loud and enthusiastic. I love Australia because everybody's super aggro and that's always really fun. They really appreciate you being there. I like Texas, specifically the San Antonio area, because it's kind of like a second home for me. So yeah, I think that those are a lot of my favorite places to kind of play. Okay, hi Mark, good to see you, dude. So what are my current favorite artists I listen to daily? Let me look. I'll look on my playlist right now. I know I've been listening to a lot of Loathe. I really love Loathe. Let's see what else. Sorry, I'm getting to my playlist. Here we go. Yeah, so Code Orange, Loathe. I love Health. I really love that new Used record. I've been on a huge AFI kick all summer, specifically some of the older stuff. I really love like the anthemic melodies and vocals, and the guitar parts are just rad. I love 100 Gex. I think that whole remix album is just genius. I think they're just doing such a great job. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I love those, the last few Bring Me the Horizon singles. I think those are really great. I think those guys are doing a great job with how they're progressing as songwriters while still kind of staying true to form in some of this newer stuff. So I'm pretty stoked on that. But I think my favorite records of this year are probably the Used. That Dance Gavin Dance record's pretty good. This band Drain has sick riffs. I love them, kind of like Northern California hardcore. That new Loathe is amazing. And yeah, I think the Code Orange is my favorite release this year so far. So that Code Orange record is phenomenal if you guys haven't heard it yet. Yeah. Yo, so I don't drink soda, but I love that you just like brought that up. Hi Amber. Yeah, Verner's is cool. I like Verner's like when I have like the flu, right? Like that's when you drink Verner's. Yeah, I like it more than other ginger ale because it's got a little more kick to it, and you got to represent Michigan, so that's awesome. And I didn't expect to talk about Verner's tonight, and I'm really happy that we are right now. Teeth the size of piano keys. I think that there was some reason why that song was just taken down. I can't remember, to be honest. I think when we did Grand Coda, it just kind of replaced Bone Palace in a lot of ways. So I don't know how to answer that, to be honest. Yo, what's up? Let's see. Trailer Park Boys were awesome. The whole experience was super cool. I loved those guys. Are super nice, by the way. The nicest guys, like, and extremely intelligent guys. I've seen them a couple times since then too. Hanging out with them was crazy. I remember just like chilling in. It was like because we were on tour with Linkin Park in Coheed, and we had played Madison Square Garden, sold out, and we flew them out to introduce us for the people that don't know. And afterwards, we went to, I don't know if it was an apartment or just some bougie hotel room, but there was like a moment where I was in the kitchen with one of them. I think it might have been JP or I don't know, Julian, I think. And he was like rolling a joint, and I'm just like drinking a drink, and it's just kind of foggy. And I just like, there was a moment where I'm looking around, and I'm just like, yo, this is so sick. Like I grew up loving the Trailer Park Boys. Like, would always get like bootlegs for my like skater friends. So yeah, I love the Trailer Park Boys. It was awesome. It was super cool. It was intimidating at first, but they were just so kind, rad, generous, and funny that my kind of nerves were alleviated pretty quickly. So drugs was always something I was going to bring back. I just was waiting to do it at the right time. So I basically was just waiting until I always told myself at the age of 35, which is how old I am, at the age of 35 that I would go back to rock music and I would stop with Bad Channel stuff, and not stop, but like just kind of transition over. And 35 hit, and here we are. So Drugs was always kind of set up to be my rock band post Cheetos. That was always the goal. It wasn't marketed as that originally, and it kind of was in moments, but that's not how everybody remembers it. But yeah, it was supposed to be my band for post Cheetos, and now it is, and that's what's happening. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm gonna drop a ton of awesome classic records, and everybody's gonna be stoked, I think. Some people might not like it as much because it's hard to encapsulate and capture what you do 10 years, 10 years ago versus now. It's much different. And people are in different places, but I really think I'm going to be able to do some amazing things with this project. I'm stoked. Like I'm ready to prove kind of my worth in that world and show everybody, just what I'm capable of doing. I think this record's going to fucking slap. Like, and I think it's going to be a classic. So I'm stoked. I think everybody else should be stoked too. Oh, that's a really cool question. So, hi, Brooke. So throughout the entire stay at home, I have been studying classical piano. That's what I've been doing pretty much with my time, at least my free time in between running all of these different kind of businesses or whatever it is that I'm doing my projects. So I listen to a ton of classical music. I love classical piano. I like dark classical piano. That's one of my favorite things to listen to when I'm not trying to just like, I don't know, kind of get it. So I really have spent a lot of time playing the piano throughout this entire thing. My hope is that to be able to just come out and flex and just do some crazy piano stuff, and then hopefully write some like longer pieces on the piano as well. I think would be really, really amazing to do. So I would say piano, classical piano. Yeah, of course. Who doesn't watch The Office? So I mean, I don't as much anymore, and I'm kind of a Ricky Gervais like purist. I really like the UK Office a lot, and it like The Office is great. It's a little bit overquoted. Don't hate me for that, but I love The Office. I think in like 2008 in San Francisco on tour with Cheetos, I dressed up as Dwight and did. I think I like only had quotes or something from that. So yeah, I love that. I love The Office. We're gonna do a couple more questions. Hi Justin, what's up, dude? I don't know. Have there been any good movies that have dropped? I'm trying to think of like what good movies have even like come out. I don't even know what's come out, to be honest, movie wise. I feel like it's been replaced. Like the demand for content and entertainment has been up so aggressively that even for television shows, we need them to be an hour and we need them to be movie quality, and we need all of them at once, and we need to be able to watch them like that. So movies are kind of falling to the wayside, specifically with all the theaters closed through the stay at home, and nothing new being released really. So yeah, I don't think I've watched very many movies during this kind of break. Trying to see if there's any other things that I wanted to talk about. Oh no, I think we got all of them except for the one more. Antonio, that's amazing. That's a great question. There's a couple big ones for sure. A lot in my life, I feel like. I think one of the biggest that has really been brought to my attention because of the stay at home is in 2004. So we had written half of All's Well. I would say about half, maybe a third. And we were on the road and I got sick and misdiagnosed 3 times from 3 different doctors. And they told me I had mono, but really I had pneumonia. And because I was misdiagnosed, I ignored it for months, and it turned into empyema, and it crushed both of my lungs. And I was in the hospital. I was the same height, so 6'2". I'm a tall guy, if you guys don't know that. And I was 70 pounds skinnier than this, so 6'2", 90 pounds. And I had to rebuild my lungs completely. I'm missing 20% of my right lung. And that's why I have like a giant scar on that side. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's kind of gone away through time, but it's still there. And I was in ICU for, definitely over a month. I don't know how long I was in the hospital, but I had to relearn how to walk. I had to rebuild all of my muscles. And I had home nurses for a very long time. I had to completely rebuild my lungs. I had to do all these different physical therapy exercises. And I was 20 years old. And then the moment that my nurse, my home nurse, kind of got me back walking, and I was able to do it with kind of crutches and just be able to stand, I went on tour a week later. And I just kind of threw myself into the deep end. But overcoming that was really scary. And this quarantine thing has kind of scared me too, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to overcome that again. As soon as I heard like lungs could be a problem, I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that. But I think that's probably the biggest thing I've had to overcome. And, I lost a lot of friendships during that time. Certain people that I thought were close to me, weren't coming to the hospital. So there was like an emotional side, a social side. And just, it was just a personal, I feel like I'd be death. So how about that for a hard struggle? All right. Let's do 2 more questions, Cody. Oh my gosh. Any band? If I could collaborate with any band, who would it be? The answer changes all the time. And it's also hard because like who I want to collaborate with might not be like the best result. Man, I'm just obsessed with this new Code Orange record. I'm just gonna say Code Orange. I think Code Orange would be amazing. So if you're listening, Code Orange, let me sing on your next record. Let's do this. Yo, I have nothing but great things to say about Warped Tour. I had an amazing time. I think that there was an amazing community. I think Kevin Lyman worked his ass off and provided a really, really great place for bands to come up. We met a ton of new bands, a ton of new fans. The shows were always rad. I have nothing but positive things to say about Warped Tour, and I'll die on that hill. I respect and love Warped Tour so much. So yeah, I miss it sometimes, but it's a really fond memory that I like think back on. It's not like I actively think about it too much. Cool. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out and being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you to SoundRank for having me. I'm really excited for this new drop, for this new Drugs release. I think you guys are gonna really, really be happy. It's everything that I want it to be. I think it's gonna be really special. If you're unaware, we dropped some more Drugs merch today. I think that there's a link. Oh, there it is. That's amazing. You were so ready with that. That's amazing. So my arms are on the other side. So here we have more Drugs merch. We just dropped the summer collection, so check it out. The owl tee is super dope because it's OG. And yeah, it's been super fun curating all of these brands and kind of being able to build out the clothing lines to kind of these ideals that I kind of had originally for them. So check it out if you get a chance. I love you guys. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Wear your damn masks so I can tour and come hang out with you. Be safe. Hit me up on social media. Don't be shy. I'm nicer than you think I am. And I will talk to you guys soon.